The Fed15 podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a fiduciary, fee-based financial planning firm serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed by our hosts are their own and do not reflect the views, policies, or position of either Raymond James or Serving Those Who Serve.
Welcome, everybody, to the Fed15 podcast presented by Serving Those Who Serve. Each week, we discuss the latest news and information that every Fed needs to know, but may not have had time to cover, maybe didn't make on your radar in 15 minutes or less-ish. If it goes over, it's usually my fault. So whether you are a seasoned federal employee or just starting out in your career, Fed15 has you covered. So grab your coffee, your energy drink, your green juice, kick back, unless you're driving, and we will tell you what you need to know but may have missed. We are your host. I'm Dan Sipe, and I am joined by the iridescent Katelyn Murray.
Iridescent. I love it. I'm not sure today, though. I'm wearing my gray blazer. I almost put my black blazer on to match you, Dan.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say I'm still in black.
Still in black.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. But see, Katelyn, you're always iridescent because by its nature, it means when you're viewed from a different angle, there's yet another color that comes out. So
there you go. Like the rainbow fish. If
yes,
anybody read that book.
You just keep revealing, and yep.
There you go. I love it. Yeah. So for those of you who do not know, our beloved Dan Sipe is committing to be the man in black, a la Johnny Cash, as long as there is a government shutdown or the threat of a government shutdown, which of course we at Serving Those Who Serve really dislike.
100%. Yeah, that's a gentle euphemism, Katelyn.
Yeah.
Dislike.
For sure. But in later topics, you've been doing some reading, haven't you? I
have, and I'm really embarrassed by this because my wife got me the book back in 2017, and I was actually reorging my office and how I came across it, and I've just about finished. I've got about 40 pages left on Bruce Springsteen's autobiography.
Wow.
Really, really, really interesting. If you're a fan of the boss, okay, you will enjoy it. Number one, it explains why he's the boss.
Huh.
I mean, we were just young people listening to music, so it's like, oh, they call him the boss. The boss!
Yeah.
But there's actually a fascinating explanation. He took full responsibility for the band. Okay, so ultimately he would take input. But as far as the creative force, creative direction, all of the management decisions, things like that, it was his neck on the line, and that was that. So just really fascinating story of evolution. And he's very transparent. Some of it's really raw, as far as what it was like going from, sleeping in your car sometimes to being on the cover of Time and Newsweek in the same week with the phenomenon of Born to Run. And that one of the things I think a lot of our feds could identify with is having this experience of saying, oh, wow, my career's gone really well. And I've got some assets to worry about.
Right.
Wait a minute. Last time I remember myself, I was sleeping under the pier, in New Jersey. So fun read. Recommend it for anybody who likes Bruce. And did you know that his daughter is an Olympic equestrian?
I didn't know that. No.
Yep, Jessica Springsteen. Yep.
Huh. That's cool.
I thought so.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
very cool.
Yep. Now that's the fun stuff for today. The next part, I'm in black. I'm here in solidarity. At least as of the time of this recording, we are just days away from what looks like it's going to be, I think, the 22nd government shutdown in history. I'm not going to do my usual rant on this. I did it last time. So we're going to give you some facts and figures. And one of the things that we will be doing, as a matter of fact, Katelyn, I think you've already seen the draft of it. We're going to start getting some little pieces out there for information that could help you during the shutdown. We're here with you. So a couple of facts and figures about this one. If you're deemed essential, you're going to be going into work. You're not being paid. That's also called accepted service. That's lousy. I hate it. If you're furloughed, you're not allowed to go to work and no pay. That's lousy. I hate it. One thing, just a little tip. You'll see this in one of our blogs coming out. Need to be careful about side work because feds are supposed to submit that for approval. So there's no conflict of interest. But thanks to the 2019 law, which I believe is called the Government Employees Fairness Act, you are pretty much guaranteed now. It was always hoped before. You're guaranteed to be fully restored to back pay. Now, that doesn't mean there won't be some snags or things with that. Again, check our blog. We'll be putting out more. On the plus side, CSRS and FERS annuitants, it's not going to have any impact on you. OPM's retirement services are still open during the shutdown, but if there's an error with an application or they need to communicate with you, this might be delayed. Or if they may need to communicate with your employing agency, that might be delayed. Other benefits, TSB, FEHB, etc., unaffected by the shutdown. Again, check our blogs because we'll be digging into that a little bit more. The other part of this is whenever this happens, this nonsense happens, it does have an impact on the raise process. So that 5.2 raise that was officially approved by the White House, Congress still needs to formalize it. So, for example, in 2019, the 2018-2019 shutdown, the raise was set at 0. And then they went back and retroactively raised it to 1.9% after the end of the 36 days. So Congress still has to do it. Will they include a pay raise in whatever budgetary legislation? They certainly should.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to point out Congress is getting paid during this time. So that sticks in my craw a little bit. But interesting question advanced by our own Benefits Ben. Will the White House propose a higher raise if the shutdown drags a long time? We don't know. These are the things that are up in the air. But hopefully Congress get to work, meet in the middle, get the government open, then fight the rest of this stuff out. That's me.
Yeah.
What you got, Katelyn?
Yeah. Yeah, man, the shutdown stuff is just really.
It sucks.
Yeah, I hate shutdown tracking. But we will do it. We will do it for you because we're in it with you and we're keeping an eye on it. I've got my fingers crossed that maybe something will come through. As of today, when we're recording, Dan mentioned it's September 29th of 2023.
So we've still got a day or two.
11th hour. Come on. Yeah. But kind of on a different note, our Postal Service employees and retirees do have some changes coming up. The Postal Reform Act of 2022 was passed last year. It's going to require postal employees and retirees to switch actually from FEHB coverage, healthcare coverage, to PSHB, Postal Service Health Benefits. Now that switch is not coming up. It is imminent, but it is not just around the corner. It's actually going to be during open season 2024. So you don't need to worry about it this open season. You do have another year that you can continue with that FEHB coverage. But in open season 2024 for 2025, that calendar year, you'll need to switch to the PSHB. Now, if you are a Postal Service employee who is in retirement, you will need to also enroll in Medicare Part B in order to cover this PSHB, in order to carry this PSHB coverage, rather. So you'll definitely want to opt in for that. If you're older than 65 and you are a a Postal Service retiree and you are not currently enrolled in Medicare Part B, there will be a no penalty 6-month special enrollment period that will open up. If you are affected by this, you should get a notice by April 1st of next year. So they'll notify you in advance, and you'll get that 6-month special enrollment period to go ahead and enroll so that you can carry your PSHB coverage. Now, this is a change, obviously, from the FEHB system because that does not force Medicare Part B enrollment. It does not necessitate that at this time. I think if we look at trends and kind of where things are going, I think Dan will agree with me that it's probably down the line somewhere that it might.
Sure.
Nothing official on that, just sort of an inkling having worked in the space with feds. One thing that I will mention.
But if we're right, Katelyn, we'll say they heard it here first.
Yeah, exactly. we absolutely will. And if we're wrong, we'll never mention it again. No, I'm kidding.
Mention what?
Yeah. Now, if you are a USPS worker or retiree and you are married to a non-USPS federal employee who has FEHB coverage on their own right, then you can basically opt into FEHB via your spouse's coverage, and you can stay in that FEHB plan. You do not have to move to PSHB and opt in for Medicare Part B. You can stay under FEHB if you are married to somebody who has that coverage on their own right.
Oh, interesting.
And that is the only way really that you can stay in FEHB. So if you're a Postal Service employee, check out some of those other branches of federal service if you're looking to stay on your FEHB. Maybe we can start a side dating business for our feds, Dan, just a mixer.
Okay, there's no way that's getting through compliance. There's just no way I can feel that cut coming right now.
Yeah. One more thing about the PSHB. If you are affected by this switch, it's not going to have any impact on your dental and vision insurance. It's not going to have any impact on your federal long-term care insurance. Not going to have any impact on FEHB. This is specifically just the healthcare coverage, FEHB and PSHB, what we're moving over to. It's also, interestingly, not going to affect your HSA, your healthcare spending account, or your healthcare flex spending accounts. So just something to be mindful of. Again, keeping you aware and abreast. There is some time because this does not take effect again until open season 2024. But just so that all of our lovely Postal Service employees and retirees are kept in the know, we wanted to mention it.
Katelyn, sort of going back to the shutdown.
Yeah.
Did you know that there are ongoing settlements still happening for class action lawsuits from the 2019 shutdown, 2018-2019?
Really?
Well, someone put on their thinking cap here and did some pretty good work on this. So if you go back and look, you will see that there was a plunge in U.S. markets that recovered pretty rapidly during part of that shutdown. And people who were furloughed, they did not make TSP contributions during that time.
Yeah, because they were
made up and done later after the market had recovered. And some bright and enterprising people were able to make the argument that there was a lost opportunity cost there. So, there are costs to shutdowns that people don't even consider. And that's one of them. So both sides of the aisle, get to work, meet in the middle. Okay. If you're out on the edges, just stay out of the way for a while. Let's get at least a continuing resolution through here. So then you can fight all the stuff out that you want to fight out. But shutting down government should not be an acceptable option for legislative negotiation.
I agree. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well,
folks, I believe we are at time. That is all the time that we have for today, but we will be back next week to bring you all the latest updates that you need to make informed decisions about your career and your financial well-being as a Fed. Fingers crossed we will not be coming back to you with the man in black. Let's get Dan in a bright pink shirt next week.
Ooh.
With no government shutdown.
Well, I have a salmon. Will that apply?
That works. You'll be iridescent.
Yeah, because I'm not sure I have a true pink, but I'm actually willing to go shopping for one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Tell you what, listeners, email us at AskSTWS, and Ben's gonna love this. Ben's gonna love getting these emails. Tell us what shirt you want me to wear, what color shirt you want me to wear to end the shutdown. Yeah. Okay, we know you're out there. We know you're listening. We're going to be with you through this whole thing. Okay, we're going to mark this time with you. You tell me, and whatever gets the most votes, that's the one I'll wear. Okay, awesome. How's that? So be sure to subscribe to this podcast on a YouTube channel and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And please remember to share it with your friends and colleagues. Hit that subscribe button wherever it is, and you will not miss out on anything.
Absolutely. Now, for more information on the topics covered in today's show and more, please check out our blog at blog.stwserve.com. When you go there, you can subscribe to our newsletter, The Weekly Serving, to get all the latest news for feds delivered straight to your inbox every week in written form.
Absolutely. And don't miss our webinars. Okay. If you got some time on your hands now, this is a great time to invest in you because you're worth it. Okay. Catch up on the Fed Life podcast. Catch up on our webinars. We've got 2 great ones coming up. One, you asked, we answered. Okay. So there's a big increase coming for long-term care. You have to make decisions by early November. Originally, our date was going to be around November 28th for that webinar. We've moved it up to October 18th. October 18th from 11 till 2. We're doing a special long-term care webinar because you asked for it. And then also, don't miss our Understanding FERS webinar on October 25th, also from 11 till 2.
Absolutely. And I think that does us for the housekeeping, Dan.
I think you're right.
Thanks so much, listeners, for listening to the Fed15. I will second what Dan said as far as, I'm hoping that something pulls through and that we don't have to go through a shutdown. But if we do, take that time, reinvest in yourself, learn about your benefits, do some financial planning, cross some stuff off of your list that maybe you've been too busy to tackle, and, reinvest in yourself and your family. I think that we take it as it comes and make the best of what we've got. So thank you so much for listening. I am Katelyn Murray.
And I'm Dan Sipe. And we will see you
next week.
Next week. Yes, we will.